Bro, geez, that was not good at all. Well, you know who I am, and I am joined today by someone that has been lurking around, so to speak, in the rankings, always active in the Discord. I'm joined by the myth. How are you, mate?
Doing well, thanks, mate. It's good to be back on, and caught me at a good time as well, which is always good in the Supercoach world. But how you been doing?
Bad, not too bad. Just plodding along slowly, I guess, slowly climbing the rankings. Hopefully, this week will be a bit of a projection into coming home strong, so to speak. What about yourself? Because I've heard that you're doing quite well, even though the last time we spoke very briefly about anything to do with cricket, you told me Alex Ross was a must have.
Have you not seen him batting lately? He's coming in early and he's hitting quick runs. He's having a good season,
Seen
Mister
that? Yes.
Alex Ross.
Yes. I know
But
you're his biggest advocate.
him and John O'Wells, of course, who I think also had a pretty good knock on there a few games ago. But no, my Supercoach season started off really roughly, but the last couple weeks have tracked pretty well. Snuck inside the top 1,000 a few rounds ago and have got a few greens in a row since then, and looking on for a pretty good score thanks to one Matthew Short last night.
Please, please, we have plenty of airtime for the king. We could sit here for hours. What happened? Can you please remind me?
Uh, well, he walked out onto the road last night and just decided to just smack everything over the fence. Definitely wasn't a pitch. Definitely more of a road out there. Don't think I've seen that many runs in a
Absolutely.
day of cricket before.
Yeah, it started off with Smudge going bananas. He was dropped early, and then it was just a run fest at Adelaide. You're right. It wasn't a pitch. It was a road. They like Brisbane's got a pretty good bowling attack. First one to say that it's not average. It's probably above average, but they looked shit house, genuinely shit. And my God, as soon as the toss was done and Brisbane opted to bowl, like how many daggers do you want in your back? Like honestly, that was the worst decision I reckon I've seen in such a long time. Terrible, terrible. Was your decision to bring Short in and captain him based on the toss, or was as soon as you saw he was named, he's in?
Look, I thought he would bowl. When I saw the lineup and I saw Boyce was out a little bit in advance, I was kind of far enough back and at a rank where I was going, if I drop and fall out, around 230 odd coming into this week, and I've got so many finishes in BBL between 250 and 500, it was kind of a case of going, I want to be top 100 or I really don't care. Like if I finish 180th, 220th, it doesn't make that much of a difference to me. I want that double digit rank. And I thought, who's going to get me there? Matt Short batting at Adelaide Oval, his favourite place, the short square boundary, so good for him on the leg side. Then no Boyce, thought he was a second spinner, thought he's not going to play if he's not fit enough. So if he's fit enough to play, he's fit enough to bowl was my kind of logic. And Jack Edwards, when he came back from injury, proved that to me earlier in the year. If they're fit, they can bowl. He didn't bowl, but that didn't matter. So
It was the other Short that cleaned up, just pure junk at the end, was absolutely disgusting.
yeah,
Yeah, like that is the biggest misrepresentation of figures you'll ever see in cricket.
funny in Supercoach as well. I think he scored about 13 points less than Matt Short. Matt Short century. Darcy
Yeah,
Short just took those 3 wickets.
I'm praying for one of the Stars boys to be out tonight because then I get Short score, as in Darcy Short. He's on my bench. There was no way I was going to play him. But hopefully a little bit of luck falls my way. That's, yeah. As you said, that's just Supercoach for you.
Yeah, it's bowler's game. Those 3 wickets at the end is why we load up on death bowlers, and Darcy Short was a death bowler last night.
Like you saw the post game interview with Matt, and he basically said like, in summary, the game was done. They were going to give the blokes that were a little bit, I guess, fresher to the side ago. So like your Buckingham and your Haskett. And then I think it was because it was Darcy Short's 100th game, they just kept bowling him. And like they needed something like 29 runs and over. And like he's not the worst bowler going around, but he's definitely not prolific enough to be getting fourthers like consistently.
No, not many players are going to do that, and not your part-time spinners especially. But I have to say, I was definitely feeling a bit greedy after that 19th over, sitting and watching the game and going, "Come on, Matty, bowl yourself, mate, bowl yourself."
Oh, that would have been fantastic, actually. I was going to say before, the Brisbane bowlers, I don't think I've ever seen it where all of them have gone for more than 40 runs.
Yeah, that especially that group of bowlers. I mean, and you combine that with the Perth bowlers going for, I think, 150 runs with one of the key guys getting a wicket. Like that combination of Dorf, Jai and Ty went for absurd amounts of runs. And then the Brisbane bowlers get back to it. Going into the tournament, they were the two best bowling attacks, and they've both been absolutely carded yesterday.
I think Perth fielded absolutely shockingly, terribly. Connolly dropped Smith on 32. I guess you could say it was a hard caught and bowl chance, but at that level of cricket, you're taking it. And then the Brisbane boys just decided that the best way to get Matt Short out was literally to bowl into his pads and watch the ball sail over the fence, which obviously for you was fantastic.
Oh, it's great. It's for a lot of people this week was a bit of a season definer, wasn't it? A lot of people pivoted to Matt Short. A lot of people skippering him. Same with Steve Smith. Big scores, and it's kind of changed the trajectory of maybe a few people up the top, and maybe a few people that might be able to climb into the top 1,000 or top 100.
Absolutely. Who was your VC, if you don't mind me asking?
I was on Chowdhury.
I would assume I think from memory got 55. Is that right?
Yeah, he got 55, which is right at that borderline. I think, again, I wasn't off to the best start in the round. And like I said before, I'd rather shoot for a higher rank from where I'm at the moment, not looking to hold ranks than 55 enough. That just was not anywhere near enough for me to loop him through.
Absolutely understandable. Did it cross your mind at all to take the 55, or was it just as soon as you saw the 55, it was not happening?
Yeah, it was not happening. Like, who I was bringing in was changing throughout the round a little bit. Matt Short was always near the top of the list, but when the 55 was not captain ball, I wanted a captain, wanted a pod captain, and that's it. This week, it went my way.
I mean, some weeks it's fantastic. Some weeks it's literally like you can't do anything right. I know. I was just I don't know. Every time I watch a Sixers game, I just have it preloaded in my mind that they're going to be chasing. Like that they love to chase. And as soon as like there was so much talk around the weather and everything going on there, and then it just cleared up and it looked amazing. And I brought in Matty Wade, Sean Abbott, and Smith. I VC'd Smith, and that was like he looked absolutely terrible at the start. And we obviously Steve Smith just an absolute freak, and he started doing his thing. But the Perth bowlers, they weren't executing. The fielding was sloppy. As I said, he probably should have been out for maybe 75 less runs. It was just like there was a lot of luck involved, and I was the same as you. I didn't have a VC. Honestly, my original trades were Nisa and Overton in and Wade, and then I thought I'm not confident in a captain. I'm not confident in Stoinis. I think Maxi's role is absolutely dog shit at the moment, and how often does a player go 160 and back that up with, an extremely high captaincy score in Will Sutherland? So I thought if Smith hadn't popped, I would not have had any clue who to go for captain. Like that, it was just so up in the air.
Yeah, I think it still is up in the air. I think a lot of teams are looking tonight going, Chief, Stoinis, Webster. There's a few options there, but none that are really like gold-plated captains. So to go through and get a smudge VC, you're just scoring tons for fun in the Big Bash, Steve Smith, and I'm sure that'll have you flying this week.
I hope so, because it'd be nice to, like, we'll talk about trade-in targets for next week, but I think if the curator at the Adelaide Oval, nothing's going to change. That's going to be a 400-run game. And who's playing at the Adelaide Oval next game? Steve.
Yep.
Like, if you have one of them and gamble correctly on who it's going to be, you're fucked. Like, you're genuinely fucked.
It could literally come down to that next week. It could come down to Steve Smith and Matt Short again. Or, as we see so often, Supercoach, both of them are out in single digits.
Absolutely could happen. Could happen. I think that's, and I know the Hurricanes have got a double. Absolutely understand that. But Jesus Christ, if the pitch is like that again and it's an absolute road, you've got two blokes coming off tons who are in sublime form. Like, I would be super scared going into that game not owning either of them. Like, I will want to be owning both of them going into that 100%.
I think that's going to be a big discussion point for this week for a lot of people going, do I get both? Do I get one? If one, who do I go for? Or do I prioritize the Hurricanes double? Because all it takes is one good rock.
Absolutely. Speaking of the Hurricanes, you said you own Chowdhury. Who else do you own?
I brought in the best Hurricanes bowler I could for this week in Nathan Ellis, who luckily enough is at least fit and through the game. I was pretty concerned there for him that he wouldn't come back on. He'd be in some trouble injury-wise, and a lot of us would be left with one less Hurricane already on the bench for next week.
Completely understand that. It didn't look good when he smashed into the, I guess, whatever you want to call it, the barricade outside of the rope. That looked terrible. Absolutely terrible. But his last over that he bowled, he shouldn't have bowled that. Like, that was, I just don't understand. Yes, I know he's the captain. He's just gone through that. He's okay to bowl. Nah. Like, that over was shit. That was pure shit. Unless that came down to him literally almost dying, or he was just rattled from it. I don't know. But I don't understand as to why he bowled it instead of Jordan. That was confusing.
From memory, I think he bowled the 18th as well. I think that might have been a half decent over. I know he definitely didn't get absolutely tonked in that over. Might have gone for something like 10. But I guess that would be the reason I'd think of that. Oh, I bowled the 18th. I was fine. Hit kind of where I wanted to be. I'm fine. I'm the guy that bowls the 20th week in, week out for the Hurricanes. I've shown that I could do it on the 18th. I should be fine for the 20th. But yeah, he got carted that over.
Yeah, no, and I don't know about you, but Jesus Christ, that was a boring game. Like, that genuinely was one of the most boring games to watch. The first half of it, of course, because Timmy David put on a show, and that was fantastic. But, like, Warner and the Thunder, you could have gone to sleep and just woken up for the second innings, and you wouldn't have missed anything.
Well, I reckon it would have been a lot more enjoyable if I owned Warner.
But in saying that, like, he just anchored it. Like, it was, I mean, great for owners, but from, I guess, a neutral point of view, watching the game, you know what he's capable of. It was just like, It was just boring. Just boring. Speaking of Tim David, are you bringing him in? Is he in your trade plan? Do you own him already, or?
Don't own him. Probably won't be bringing him in. Look, the role's still the same. He's batting 6. The opportunity's not always going to be there. It's really just that simple. Like he's popped 2 games in a row. He's gone back-to-back 50s in a role that isn't really conductive to a lot of Supercoach points for a player that doesn't really do his best work when he's in early anyway. I just think the things that have to happen for a big Tim David score are pretty low in probability, and it's now hit twice in a row. So whilst the form's there, I'm just going to back that at least it doesn't happen twice, because it has to happen twice to really hurt me. If it happens once, sure, people get a good Tim David score, but it needs to happen once for a good Tim David score. It needs to happen twice to be really hurt by it. I don't see it happening twice.
I get that. So in your opinion, who's the number one trade-in target this week, specifically for your team?
Specifically for my team, that's an almighty question because I don't have a specific trade-in target at the moment. I'm still debating. I'll get another Canes bowler. I'll add either Meredith or Jordan to Ellis. And depending on what happens with Thunder Loops early, I'll probably look for a Canes batter. It'll probably have to be a wicket keeper unless Billings can score well again in game 1. So almost by default, it'll probably be Matty Wade.
There are no other fit keepers currently. I mean, Doran doesn't exist, and McDermott had hamstring tightness bending over to pick the ball up. Like that can't be good at all.
No, it doesn't really fill me with confidence to bring in McDermott next week, even if he is named for game 1.
Like that at all. You've already got Chowdhury and you've already got Ellis, so you've already got 2.
Yeah.
That's where I'm sitting at currently. I've got Wade and Jordan. And I think the number one trade-in target for me is Matt Short. Like, you can't go past that at Adelaide Oval. Like, that's just sign me up all day for that type. But the one that I think everyone should be looking at is Charlie Joaquim. Top order bat for the Canes. And I don't think the McDermott injury or the McDermott fitness will have any effect on him at all. Seems to me like this bloke's a mature age batsman. He's 33 years old. He's been around the setup for ages. Played really good for Tasmania, and Basement Price playing in a double, or like that's your enabler that you want. Like, I'm more than happy to go there. Like, 2 of my trades are already locked in. It's Short and Joaquim, and I guess law of averages say I've got to go a Hurricanes bowler. That could genuinely be like a massive throw at the stumps, like Big Bird, Billy Stanley, something like that. Just something that's not, I guess, not conventional. Because there's no point, like, as you said, there's no point, if you're ranked fairly well, there's no point having the exact same players as everyone else. Like, do you want to finish where you are, or do you want to try and jump ahead, so to speak? I mean, I think that's the point of view that you're going with as well.
Yeah, I definitely think you want to take some pot options to be able to get up the rankings, and I'll be considering a few myself, particularly with that third trade. I'll need to have a look at funds and who I want to get out as well as much as I want to get in. And I think this is going to be a round where a trade in the up the sleeve might be really useful, just because there's a bit of weather around at a few different places here, which we know can go one or two different ways. Yeah. And interesting there, though, I want to just quickly pick out, because you said there you don't own Chowdhury, you're not getting Chowdhury. The one guy that you, I guess, classify as an all-rounder in the Hurricanes lineup, maybe Jordan at a stretch, but you're not going to go for him.
Injured, he doesn't bowl. I know he does. He has bowled, but he's bowled like 1 or 2 overs here and there. In that game specifically, where he got the wicket of Sam Billings, which, by the way, was a lovely delivery, and the celebration was even better. But that doesn't happen. Like, if Alice doesn't crash into the boundary, that doesn't happen. So take 20 off his score, plus the dot, say I don't know how many dots he got. Say he got 2. Give him 2. Third of the over. So you've got the wicket, which is 20, 2 dots, which is 22.
It's a low score.
That's a 33. And what price is he?
I think he's around the 120, 130 mark. I'll have a quick look. So I've got the website open here. So he's going to go up in price as well. So he's 120K, but he's beat his BE by about 60 points. So we're looking about probably around that 135K mark. We'll see for Chowdhury after lockout.
I don't hate the shout. I don't hate it. But, like, if he doesn't get the wicket, he's pumped out at just over 30. It's not looking amazing. And also, he's batting in the middle order. He hasn't gone ballistic with the bat. He's made 3 scores over 20. Like, I'm definitely not saying that he can't do it, but there's no. I'd rather gamble that and bank 100K with a top 3 batsman in Joaquin.
Yeah, that's fair enough. You're banking on the overs being low, and they have been most of the season. I just see time and time again with these guys that there's just that one game they do get it. Everything goes right for them. They get the overs, they get the innings, they get the catches, and he's that guy in that Canes team that I look at and going, who could go 150 in a single game here? And he's the guy for me that I'm like, he's the one.
2 more runs. I know Timmy David iced the game. Jordan scores 2 more runs, gets a strike rate bonus. 70 plus. Everyone's looking at him. Like that's a great score on a single. But obviously that didn't happen, so there's no magnification on Chris Jordan right now. Don't get me wrong, he's a very good asset. He bowls. I hate that he bowls the surge. I genuinely hate it from a Supercoach perspective. But he's got that nice. He doesn't bowl up front, so when he does come on for his first over, he's got that protection in the deep, and he always bowls death. I was so surprised that he only bowled 3 overs, and like Ellis went for 16 off his last, and like that could have easily been Jordan, and we're having that same conversation. But I just don't overlook Jordan because he is a far better bat than what he's given credit for.
He's the other one. The other one, if you go, who the guys that can go 150, he's the other one because he can do it with the bat. He's shown it with the bat. And that's probably a good chance why he'll come in for me over Meredith will be pure because he offers that other way of scoring. I think Meredith's more likely to pick up points with his bowling. If it was just that, I would be going Meredith. But look, we'll see where we rank and see what the price changes are when we get to lockout because, that might make me need the cheaper option in Meredith. But, I think going some cheaper Canes to allow yourself to have both Short and Smith, if that Adelaide game is a runs fest, you'll be in a good position.
Some scores, and I want to tell you, and I want to know if you're interested in this player. 20, 28. Oh, that's it. I assume not. We're talking a top order batsman here. Does not bowl, and from memory doesn't field in, I guess, very friendly areas. So just 20 and 28. Is that, I guess, you're probably not intrigued by that at all. I know it's only 2 scores, but that doesn't say pick me, does it?
Trying to figure out who you're referring to, but it doesn't, does it?
Other scores from the same player, of course. 151, 68, 72, and probably the best 13 you'll ever see in your life.
Not ringing a bell. Obviously, those numbers are a bit more pick him.
Scores are at home and the lower scores are away. I'm talking about Mitch Owen.
Mitch Owen.
He absolutely loves it at Ninja, and away, it's like he doesn't even pack his pads.
And they're playing at. They've got one home, one away on the double, don't they?
Brisbane. They've also got one at home at Ninja, which is against the Renegades.
Yep. He's seen them like planets at Ninja Stadium. He's looked absolutely phenomenal.
That much cash. He had a break even of 21, scored a 13. So he's literally going to be around that 147k. Does he interest you at all?
Anyone that scored a century this season, I think, has to interest you. I think it's the way, like you said, a very impressive 13. A couple big balls.
Look, absolutely. Yep.
So it's, yeah, I think one of the big reasons I'll probably go against him is from memory, his ownership's already pretty high. I think
I wouldn't know. I would look at it.
If I look at the top 1% of players at the moment, and I filter by Hurricanes, we'll just go through, have a look, because there might be some here that people want to anti-pod, some people you want to take on. So you got Doran at the top, Chowdhury at 48%, Jordan at 47%, Owen's already at 40% ownership before the double.
You'd imagine maybe 50% by then.
Yep. Matt Wade's already at 25%.
People jumped off Billings or Flip and went there early.
Yeah. Makes sense. I think Matt Wade had a low BE, was just off a decent score. Flip was coming down, Billings was coming down. But more people are going to go there next week as well, particularly if anyone that's left with a Billings or a Jilks that plays early will probably loop at wicketkeeper and move to a Hurricanes keeper should that emergency fail.
Owns players there then. I assume it's got to be the bowlers, doesn't it?
Sorry?
Players from the Hurricanes. It'd have to be the bowlers, wouldn't it?
You'd have to think you go the bowlers. That's where you got your options. You got Ellis 23, Meredith 18, Tim Davis at 6%. That's going to shoot up. Got you cutting out scope. Sorry, what was that?
I'm not too sure what's happening with these. They were fine before we started. Billy Stanlake, what's he at?
Oh boy, we're going down for Billy Stanlake. Billy Stanlake in the top 1% is owned by 0.5%, a total of 3 people.
That's dirty. That is really dirty. That's sneaky. Very sneaky. Yeah, no, that's definite option. Definite option. I mean, I know he's a complete and utter Gumby, but if he pops in that double game week, then you're laughing. Absolutely laughing. Yep.
He's getting at least 3 overs pretty much every game so far from memory. What do you have on the
Who are they going to bring in?
43. They're not going to bring in anyone. I think he's the guy that could lose overs should Chowdhury look good in terms of spinning. I'd say him and Hatzoglu are going to be the guys that lose overs most likely if Chowdhury is going to get a few more. Hasn't really happened though.
They just seem to go with what they know, don't they?
Well, they're on top of the table, so why are things going to change?
Exactly. I guess unless there's injuries. Any shout for a VC from them? It's got to be a bowler, doesn't it? Jordan?
Yeah, probably. I think it's a dart, really. I think Jordan and Chowdhury are the two guys with the biggest ceilings, but I think it's a one-off game. You're going to want something big. You're not going to probably loop a 30, even with, you're going to take smudge or short at Adelaide Oval most likely. So I think it's just a dart. I probably like Jordan and Chowdhury the most, simply because they've got that ceiling of both bat and ball. They can get points in both ways. So that's probably where my VC will be going.
Everyone will have a loop in the Stars, boys, surely. Like you should. Everyone owes Storms or Maxwell or still Hamish McKenzie like myself. But I
Yep.
think at first, if the Renegades bat first, a Jordan VC would be extremely nice. And if the
Yep.
Hurricanes bat first, then probably Chowdhury if you own him.
Yeah, that's probably a good way to split it. Chad to get a decent extra chance with the bat, but even then, I don't mind someone like Jordan if they're batting first because they're more likely to get a go. Especially a team like the Hurricanes that are winning games. You'd think Jordan's just a good chance to get a bat in the first innings when maybe comes in with 3 or 4 overs to go and they're trying to accelerate. He was just short of the 20 this week, but maybe he makes the 20 another week.
I mean, David just absolutely iced that game, which was very nice by him. He batted well. He batted really well, and they bowled absolutely shockingly to him. Just slot balls like Wes Agar. I cannot fucking wait to trade him out. I really can't wait to trade him out. Like, he's been a pain. Do you own him?
No. Very. I never got Wes Agar. I think the week that everyone got him, the same sort of logic to some, like I was mentioning earlier. He took 2 3-fers in a row. This is a guy that we've seen in the BBL for years and years and years. So I ended up going Lockie Ferguson the same week everyone went Wes Agar. Copped a cash drop, but in the end, it ended up netting an extra 50 or 60 points with the performance of Lockie in the first game of their double. That wasn't a double.
And that was actually very fortunate that didn't eventuate for my own team. We don't have many questions, mate, but we will get to a few. Oh, Jesus Christ. There is a lot we can't read out.
As usual, mate.
Yeah, as usual. The Surf 420, thanks for being here, mate. You're always here. Would you boys rather go Stoyne to Matt Short or Steve Smith? Thinking my other trades might be correcting McDermott to Wade and then Chris Green out for Kane or a solid single game weeker like Abbott. No Tony, yes. Yep. Geez, that's unlucky to have gone McDermott.
That's real.
I mean, I really don't mind that at all. Does Abbott play at the SCG? I don't think he does.
No, he plays at the Adelaide Oval.
We literally just spoke about that. But to be fair, Sabah really likes the Adelaide Oval. Against Adelaide, he's got an average of 78.6, and at the Adelaide Oval, he's got an average of 76. Like, they're fucking elite numbers right there.
Like, good numbers.
Yeah. So, honestly, because it's the Adelaide Oval, but then again, Steve Smith absolutely loves Adelaide as well. Flip a coin on Short and Smith. I think Smith will be cheaper.
I think for me, it's a really, really simple decision there. Unless it changes if we get word that Matt Short's fit to bowl and is planning to bowl. That changes it. Then it's Short, I think, pretty comfortably. But if not, I think you just take whoever bats first.
Good shout. Yep, absolutely. McDermott to Wade, kick off on that. Yep, absolutely. If you can get like Chris Green to a Jordan, 100% go there.
Yep.
Tony J, lovely to see you here, mate. Who is more the must-have, Matt Short or Smith? As Mick literally just said, whoever bats first, or if we get word that Short's going to bowl. Like if for some reason they only go in with Lloyd Pope, like we know Boyce isn't playing and like Darcy Short gets dropped for some reason or he gets fucking injured or whatever, which he probably won't because he just stat padded the last over. Then you go Matt Short. But first?
You could almost be really, really sneaky with that one if Adelaide bowled first. If Adelaide bowled first, you could have Smith in and you could just watch the game and see if Short has the ball in his hand for that first over. If Short bowls, he bowls that first over. So you might actually get a small little window there if you're quick enough to go, okay, Short's bowling, switch Smith to Short, or other way around. Like, you might have that window of strikers bowl first.
Oh, Jesus Christ. We'll probably also get Meredith and another Kane. I like that. I'd probably go the other one is out of Chowdhury and Jordan, surely.
Yeah, I think they're the two that have those options, but it depends. You could load up on the bowlers as well. There's Mitch Owen, Matt Wade. There's so many, and you're looking at Wakeem and Stan Lake. They're on top of the ladder. You could pick a lot of them.
Absolutely. Tony J wants to know, would you keep Stoyne or Tom Rogers from the gate? As in for today, or what are you talking about next week? Surely. If you don't have a loop, you keep Stoyne. Simple as that. Like, loops are so important this time of the year. Like that, whenever you can loop, you fucking loop. Like, I've got Finn Allen sitting on the field with a 15, and I've got Darcy fucking Short on the bench with an E for 155. If you can loop, fucking loop. Like, that's a no-brainer. No-brainer. If Stoyne doesn't enable you to loop, then it's a whole different conversation. Like,
next week, most of us are going to have at least 2, maybe 3 stars, or at least 1. Set up with your nuffs on the bench, not on field. Have Stoinis on field. If your emergency goes good, keep him as your trade. If he doesn't go good, trade Stoyne out back to whoever you traded out. For me, it might be something like Zampa. I'll trade out Zampa. But if my loop sucks, I'll trade out Stoyne and go back to Zampa. Something like that. Actually, it's a bad example. I think Zampa plays early next round.
Hobart down in Ninja. And Tommy Rogers used to play for Hobart, so he 100% knows what it's like down there. It's very contextual. Send us your side in. Like, you know where to find us on Twitter or in the Discord, mate. Literally, just look up SC Hub and you'll see one of our names and just send a screenshot in. So we've got a little bit more information regarding that. Reese wants to know, does Wakeem play both games next round? Oh, I think he does, yes. I think he was always going to play as long as Shy Hope left, and we always knew that he was going. Like, this bloke is not young at all. He has been around the Shield circuit for fucking ages. He hasn't, don't get me wrong, he hasn't been in the top side for Tasmania, etc. But he can play cricket. He can play cricket. He's like, I would be more than comfortable bringing him in, and playing him on field. Like that. That's just personally me. I don't know what your thoughts are, Miss. What do you think about that, mate?
Look, if he's batting in the top order and he's got a shot, there's obviously a little bit of risk there. There's not going to be the job security of a Mitch Allen or a Matt Wade with Wakeem. Like, there's going to be that. But if you like the guy, you think there's an opportunity there and it funds your other moves, there's definitely far worse risks to take. I think on that, though, I would be very, very hesitant on looping with Doran this round. I can see a bit of worry coming into this week with people with him, because if McDermott's out, Jewell probably comes in, but all of a sudden the two players he's the next in line, and the two players in front of him are Caleb Jewell and Charlie Wakeem. Much higher chance of sneaking into that side. And then you got old man Wade, who's already had a calf issue this year too. Be careful. Wakeem looks fine. It's a fair punt, but that, yeah.
As in, Jewell is the only threat to Wakeem. That's like Wacker and Hope obviously left. Jewell and Bean came in, and then the 11 that they had was, give me 1 second. It was literally Wakeem was in and Hatoglu was in. Hope and Wacker were obviously out. I don't know. Jewell just does not seem to be in favour at all. Like, I think his time's done. I really do. Like, if they're going Owen Wade, that's an absolute lock. It's just Wakeem, then you got McDermott, Chowdhury, David, like that. And then the bowlers. They don't really
I think
have it.
I would be much more confident in Joaquim should McDermott be ruled out. If McDermott is out, I think Joaquim should be fine. But there's still that element of risk if Joaquim has, because he didn't exactly make a whole lot of runs in that game. It was around the 20 mark from memory.
So, I think.
I'll get it up quickly. But
I'm sure on that.
have a look. What did Joaquim score in the last game? So Joaquim had 16 off 16. So it's, look, he hasn't really knocked the door down there to make sure he's definitely a lock into that side for the next 3 games. I do think that if McDermott is available and Jules waiting in the wings, that there is certainly some risk if Joaquim struggles in this next game, that he might not be there for the second. But I think you're safe if McDermott's there. But look, he's cheap for a reason. There's job security risks. It's what he gets you, not what.
Absolutely.
And
But
you could loop him into a heat as well. You could loop him at bat bench, have a heat come in if he's not named for that second game and he's done it up game 1. Ideally, he just does well game 1. You can loop him on without having to wait that long.
Seems like he's going to play that anchor role there because, like, Wade's not going to chew up balls. Mitch Owen is not going to chew up balls. Joaquim's there to almost just knock it around to get the other bloke on strike. And then you've got Chowdhury, who, I mean, that would have been Ben McDermott, but we all know what McDermott's capable of. They seem too gung-ho at the top. And Jewel doesn't fit the criteria of, I guess, knocking it into gaps, so to speak. Like, he can go large as well. And
yeah,
it's another right-hander as well. Do they really want, Wade left, Jewel left, Mitch Owen right, and then you get into all the right-handers? Just for a little bit of balance. I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking it, but in short, I reckon he plays. I think he plays. Now, Miz, I don't know if you've conversed with this fella. Juicy Gerbil is our mascot. He's our resident weatherman. He gets around quite a bit, to say the least, and most of the stuff that he says we cannot verbalise, okay? So if you see something from him, just read before you speak or you will get called out like I do. Jerbs says he's considering a risky VC of Owen. No rain Tuesday's match, and the first game is at Ninja, so I like to risk it. Otherwise, I might go Jordan or Meredith. Honestly, if you like it because it's at Ninja and you've looked at his stats, like he loves playing there, then go for it. Honestly, it's a VC. You VC your most riskiest player with the highest risk profile to literally pop. You don't want to be VCing a captaincy option. That captaincy is full. He could go bananas. He really could. What's your thoughts on that, mate?
I think without a all-star, all-rounder option for the Canes on the double, I said earlier, I think it's a dart. I think Owen's fine. He's seeing him well. Like you said, he did only have 13 the other day, but he looked good. It wasn't a scratchy 13. He hit a few out of the park before he departed, and he scored well at Ninja. I think it's fine. I'd be happy if I do get Owen. I'll consider it as well.
I think he already owns him as well, so I don't think it'd be like a trade in, feel the pressure of having to VC him. Which
I think is a great pick.
Can play mind games as well. Loads. Went with Jamie and held Cooper this week instead of Short and holding Zampa. Oh, top 50 dreams killed in one move. Should have backed your man, Scopes. Can't believe I went against the Old Testament. Yes, the Old Testament. Have you actually... Now, Miss, I don't know if you've heard of it. Have you heard of the Old Testament?
Go on.
Genuinely curious. Have you heard of it?
I'm not sure I've heard what it might be referring to there.
Let me see if I can find it for you, because there's a lot of crap on my Twitter, as you've probably seen. Here we go. Where is it? No, I don't think I can find it. Anyway, it was basically just everyone trading out Matt Short, right? And it was purely based on the fact that he hadn't found form, he wasn't good enough, blah, 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 price tag, all that, high break even. And then I found when I was reading through some like biblical, amazing things, almost Bible-like, that it says those that hold the king, Matt Short, will be well endowed, points-wise. And I just goes to show that you absolutely fucking are. Like, how many did he get you a C this week?
What was it in the end? 164. So what's that? 328 as skipper. So yeah, most of my score, to be honest.
I mean, yeah, you can't go against the Old Testament. It's legitimate, mate. And Logs has also sent in, probably going smudge over Short this week as a striker's bowling lineup is a bunch of club cricketers and a fat pom. Pray Short gets a good ball. I mean,
it's a good way to split them. The Sixers bowling attack is far better than the Strikers bowling attack.
I don't think there's any arguments for that at all. Any at all. And I think smudge will be cheaper as well. So, like coin wise. But I tried to get Short in so badly this week, and I could only get Smith. I didn't have I think I was 17k short in the end, and it just wouldn't work out. But obviously, you're a bit better with finances than I. Yeah. Hindsight though, it did. I think we've covered basically everything, mate. I know now this is a foreign bit of territory for me, this NRL stuff. You're going to take the reins here and just explain what you and, am I correct in saying, one other fella offer through the Discord for the NRL setup. Is that right?
Yeah, so seen announcements that's sort of just come into play over the last few days. Me and a bloke named Rugby League Realm have kind of paired up, and we're running, I guess, a subscriber channel in the Supercoach Hub Discord. So in that, it'll have obviously an exclusive chat where me and Realm will be a part of it. We'll be quite active in it, in having a lot of discussion of Supercoach strategy, how to set up your team early, and we'll also be producing quite a lot of content. So there's already a fair bit in that paid channel, and more will be coming over the coming weeks. We've already got quite a bit already done and ready to release. And yeah, we're looking to just do it a little bit differently than, I guess, some content out there. Less about player A or player B, but more looking at, okay, why would we pick player A? What's the benefit of them? What's the risk with them? What's the same with player B? How many risky players do you want to set up in your starting side? Really that, I guess, more in deep strategy discussion of how you're making a decision, how you're setting yourself up, rather than is this a good pick or not. But that's just released, and yeah, if you're interested in NRL, check out the hub and then ask myself, Realm, or Charity any questions about it, and we can let you know if it's for you.
You don't currently have Twitter, is that correct?
I don't have a direct Twitter at the moment, but we do have a combined one with myself and Realm. I don't actually know it off the top of my head at the moment. I've been more BBL focused and just producing content for the NRL. But yeah, we'll be pretty active in Twitter space as well.
So basically, the best way to contact you and to get a hold of those kind of services is through the Discord at Supercoach Hub, yes?
Yep.
We've actually got one more question, and we will answer it because the sir is a long-time listener, MVP around here. Would you rather trade out Green or Zampa? Mick, who are you going with, mate?
If I had to pick one of them, I would rather hold Green just because he's got that opportunity with the bat. Whether or not he'll do anything with it is another question, but he'll at least get a stick in, as we just saw last night with Spencer Johnson hitting a quick 20. Anyone can catch fire for a couple balls, and maybe Chris Green could do it. But I think it's a bigger question based on your team. Like, do you have Thunder and Scorcher loops for that first game? Do you have the cash to get? Do you need the Greens cash to get Smudge or Short? But if all of those things are neutral and doesn't affect any other decisions, I'd rather have green.
Understood. I'd probably just, I think I'm with you, unless currency is an option that you need for your trades, because obviously green is, I think he's about 30k more than Zampa. I could be entirely wrong and absolutely butchering that, but Cam Green is 152. Zampa is probably dog shit. 107. There you go. There's 45,000 you can drop on someone's head, plus whatever you get from bringing in Wakeem, because he's an absolute superstar and he will play the double, in my opinion. Miss, thank you so much for joining me today, mate. Is there anything else that you want to add at all?
No, nothing to add. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you very much for joining us, and thank you everyone for dropping by. You have a joint Twitter account, but the best way to get in contact with you is through the Supercoach Hub Discord. Once again, just double checking that, mate.
Yeah, Hub Discord. Look, go for myself, go for Realm. Any of us will be able to answer questions. And yeah, planning starts for NRL as well.
Oh, if anyone speaks that foreign language and they want some more insight, tips and trips, then hit these boys up. I know the few of the guys that have sent in questions actually enjoy the NRL Supercoach setup. Genuinely,
Taste, I see.
If that's what we call degenerates, and fair enough, absolutely. You can follow me at Scobie_SC Hub on Twitter, and you know when Matt Short's doing well, you know that we are just going to be posting everything from the Adelaide Strikers accounts, because we love it when the king absolutely fucking pops. So thank you for joining me in this today, and have a wonderful, I guess, end of the round. Hopefully your team does exceptionally well, and we'll see you back here sometime next week. We're not too sure yet, but keep an eye on the socials for that. Have a great day and enjoy.